I'd like to call the meeting to order. Will everybody please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Mayor Paul,
Here.
Vice Mayor Whitman,
Here.
Councilmember Alfonso,
Here.
Councilmember Starkey,
Here.
Councilmember Lewis, Mr. Lamack,
Here.
Mr. Lewis, Mr. Holste, Mr. Weinthal.
Here.
Mayor, you have a quorum.
Thank you very much. May I have a motion to excuse Mr. Lewis, Councilmember Lewis?
I'll make a motion to excuse Councilmember Marlon Lewis.
Second,
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
and we
That's
hope he
unanimous.
feels well
Thank-
soon.
What?
And we hope he feels well
Yes.
soon.
Okay, we start out the first meeting of the month with the public comments. Speakers will not be limited to the number of topics. However, if they want to discuss anything that's on the public hearing, they can do it at that time. Be limited to 3 minutes. And is there anyone that would like to speak? Come forward, state your name and address. Seeing none? Oh, don't rush.
Sorry, I was yielding to others.
Okay.
Respectfully yielding to others. Good evening, Mayor, council members, and Town of Davie employees and fellow neighbors. My name is Tula Amana. I live at 5030 Southwest 109th Avenue, 33328, and I've been living there for 27 years, since the previous century, in 1999. I've been the owner also of Flashback Diner for about 16 years in downtown Davie Road, and 2 other restaurants that I didn't get a chance to fully open all the way until the town of Davie actually came and did the right thing. So tonight I would like to announce my participation in the November elections for District 3 candidate opposite one of your most brilliant, amazing members, which is Susan Starkey. And as I was drafting my speech, I found myself talking more about Susan Starkey than I have been talking about myself. But I would like to give you a brief overview. I've got time on my hands right now, and I'm always antsy. I'm a perpetual student. I just graduated from Nova last year with a master's in real estate development, and I am going into public administration studies too. But because I'd like to give back to the community that gave me so much in the past 45 years, actually, that I've been living in Broward County and South Palm Beach. I've lost actually and shut down the restaurants, and 300 jobs have been lost because of COVID and because of other reasons, and my employees are suffering terribly. I thought they would be able to get jobs and recover. But these days, there's a lot of strange things happening in the government that this is not the proper forum to talk about, but I'm here to help in any way that I can, and I wish that I could be part of the days, but of course I understand that I'm going up next to a person with brains, beauty, knowledge, and everything else. She's better looking than me, I admit. I'm on a diet, okay. Okay, so I just would like to offer a little bit a different perspective, because everybody knows that I'm not anti-development, I'm not pro-development. I'm for the right development that allows people to be able to buy a house rather than rent, and also to have a job in the neighborhood, and to be able to send their kids to school safe and to walk the streets safe. I was appalled actually to see that certain things have been passing by the government that are going to be on the ballot in November, and I'm very worried about budgets. So that was a great meeting you had today. I look forward to working with you and the wonderful town of Davie. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak?
Good evening, clerk and other officials. Hello, council. Jacqueline Rocha here for Town of Davie Mayor, as you're all well aware.
Please
Paul, I
state your
wanted-
name and address, please.
Jacqueline Rocha, 6310 Southwest 41st Street.
Thank you.
Ms. Paul, I wanted to thank you for acknowledging me in your campaign email recently. See, I came here tonight to bring light to the video that you shared last week where you were accessible should we need anything at all as our mayor. I thought you might remember me. We initially met when I was attending Davie Elementary School and the council came to our school when you were elected. Then I shook your hand a few times over the many years of our Orange Blossom festivals. But our last encounter was about 6 years ago when I came into our town hall and requested a meeting with you because I was concerned about the development going up at the end of my street. But instead, I was met with code enforcement at my door to let me know that, and I quote, pissed off the mayor. I let it go when I allowed myself to believe that it might be a one-off event, and I shouldn't have. Because when my neighbor called you or emailed you to help our street with the 40 or more ducks that we were having to take care of, many of which were disabled with angel wings due to growing up on a paved roadway instead of land, you sent code enforcement to her house also, with the further threat of Davie police. So why exactly you made Davie a safe haven for Muscovies has gone unfounded, and your repetition of threatening behavior on our residents became evident. So then in February, I really tried to show you grace and invited you to meet when I filed to oppose your seat to give you an opportunity to give me your side of things and to privately ask you to step down before I went public with my campaign. Then my last attempt was at the mayor's breakfast, an event for residents to meet their elected officials that you turned into a campaign gathering, and where your campaign volunteers were overheard telling my neighbors not to speak to me because I was running for mayor, although I did nothing to make that apparent, nor was that my intention. So I have yet to see where you've been accessible as my mayor of the town that I grew up in since I was 2 years old. And while I have yet to see the grace that I have shown you, my invitation to meet will remain open-ended. And Ms. Starkey, you've done a wonderful job of getting my name into places I haven't had the chance to put my foot through yet, so I appreciate your efforts thoroughly. Yeah. And then Mr. Lewis, I know he stepped away. We had a candidate meeting recently last week that we all attended, and he attempted to speak over me and say it's not going to happen when I brought up the three things that I want to see in Davie: integrity, transparency, and preservation. And he said, again, it's not going to happen. And maybe it was those three things, or maybe it was the movement. We've got 6 residents who stepped up to oppose your seats. So continue to do the work you're doing. And if any of you have anything to say to me, you know exactly how to reach me.
I'm not going to respond, but there's a lot of inaccuracies in what you've said. I'll look into it a little further. Anyone else want to speak? Come forward, state your name and address.
Good evening. My name is Jim Scrima. I live in Long Lake Ranches, retired law enforcement, so I don't want to advertise my address if you don't mind.
That's right.
I would like to thank the council, the director, the chief. I've grown up I'm 58 years old. I've grown up in Davie all my life. And I'm very proud of the services that we've been given from the town. But the reason why I'm here tonight, which I think we might have cured the problem, Mr. Lemack and Jeff with Parks is helping us out. In Long Lake Ranches, as you know, there's the Openness Trail that goes behind us on the south side and above us on the north side between us and Estates. We're having a lot of problems with dirt bikes. We're having a lot of problems with pedestrian traffic, e-bikes, golf carts coming in 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning when it's completely black out there and you can't see. And speaking, this has been just so you know, it's been about a 3-year project with Mr. Lemack. We just got some quotes. We're going to be fencing off our entrances at Hiatus and our entrance at Nob Hill to our actual community. which we'll be putting in a permit very soon for. Part of that project was to put gates up on the inside of our community at the clubhouse and put signs out at Hiatus and Nob Hill telling them it's not a through entrance. The problem with that is you're going to wind up getting a lot of complaints. People are going to complain that they got all the way in there, now they have nowhere to go. They got to turn around and go all the way through the dark. I invite any of you to come at 9, 10 o'clock at night and visit our trail. Bring a flashlight, turn it off, and you'll see it's a safety issue out there. But I think the cure is going to be, we're willing to pay for, there's a walk-through gate at Nob Hill that needs to be put up that's been down for many years. We're willing to pay for that gate to be put up. It'll be the same material as what's there right now, black with the black chain link fence. Over at Hiatus Road, it's a smaller fence. It sits lower. We're okay with the height of it for now. At some point, we can talk to the town and maybe raise it higher. We'll help pay for it and get our neighbors on the other side to contribute. But the object now would be is to get Parks and Recreation. They're 908 feet away to go to Robbins Park to be able to lock up Hiatus Road, and they're to go to Bergeron Park. They're just shy of 5,000 feet away. They have to pass it either way, so it wouldn't be an inconvenience for them because they have to go there. All you have to supply is a lock and 2 locks and 2 chains, and hopefully myself and Jeff can get this taken care of. We're going to meet out there on Monday, but I just wanted to bring it up to you anyhow. And again, thank you for your time. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Mayor, just real
Yeah.
quickly, Mr. Skarma, could you please call me? I used to live in Long Lake Ranches, and I lived right across on Dovecote Meadow Lane, right across from there.
Can I pass this up to you, write your number on?
Yes. You know, give it to Mr. Lemack, and I will give you a call. Thank you.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak? Seeing none, I'll close the open speak portion of the agenda, and we'll go on to presentations. We have a presentation by the Vulnerability Assessment Final Report, Brittany Zams. I hope I pronounced that correctly.
It's
Are you-
actually Zeems, but that's okay. Oh, thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Town Council members, administrators, staff, and members of the public. My name is Brittany Zeems, and I serve as the Intergovernmental Affairs Coordinator for the Town of Davie. In October 2023, the Town of Davie secured grant funding through the Florida Department of Environmental Protection's Resilient Florida program to complete a town-wide vulnerability assessment at no cost to the town. To support this initiative, the town contracted Arcadis Inc., which helps local governments evaluate potential community risks and strengthen resilience planning. This evening, Arcadis will be providing an overview of the project, the benefits to our community, and next steps. I'll now hand it off to Melissa Hugh, Senior Management Consultant with Arcadis Inc.
Good evening, happy to see you all. Thanks for having us. So a lot of you are familiar with the vulnerability assessment, but this is also for the benefit of the public as well. So I'll be starting from the very beginning and how this work all came to fruition. So I'll be talking about project scope, some basics about a vulnerability assessment, what critical assets are and what assets we analyze as part of the project, what exposure and sensitivity are and how that filters into the work that we did for the project, focus areas, which is one of the last steps that we did, and then finally next steps. So project scope, as Brittany alluded to, this vulnerability assessment is looking at critical assets as well as our flood risk that impact those assets. This assessment is mandated by the Florida state statute. So essentially, the entire state of Florida and its municipalities are required to do a similar assessment. And as Brittany also mentioned, the project is funded by Florida DEP, and so this is in compliance with a grant as well. So the work began back in 2023 when the town was awarded the project. We began project kickoff in 2024, and the grant is actually due in 2026, and so we'll be wrapping up end of this month. So you've heard about what the project is. I want to give you a little overview of some of the benefits to the town. So very importantly, it unlocks funding for future projects related to capital improvements, flood mitigation, other planning work as well. So it essentially opens up that piggy bank with the state of Florida and makes us eligible for more funding. It also makes us stronger competitors for federal funding as well. Although it's not a federal requirement, it does help to enhance our grant opportunities. This project will help us to prioritize key adaptation projects. So in a world where we have very limited resources, it helps us to figure out where should we focus our attention and what might we want to do next in terms of looking at all the projects that we have coming down the pipeline. Because this project is very heavily model focused, there's a lot of data that we collected, there's a lot of data that we output, there's 42 different modeling scenarios that we looked at. All of that work can be then used to enhance the existing stormwater master plan to make it more robust. And then finally, we can incorporate some of the information that we found, the data that we found into our code and our policies, because what we have is the depth and extent of flooding. So we can use that for design flood, we can use that for planning for projects as well. So a little bit about a vulnerability assessment. There are a couple components that are basic to all vulnerability assessments. The first is exposure. So when we talk about exposure, again, we're looking at flood risk and we're wanting to understand what is the extent and the depth of the flooding, right? Where is it happening and over what time horizon? The next thing we look at is sensitivity, right? So we're looking at our assets and how significantly those assets are impacted by any one of the flooding scenarios, what's the depth and extent of flooding at any asset that we're analyzing. And then thirdly, we look at focus areas, and so we're looking at where do we need to turn our sights to when we're looking at the current time horizon, 2040 time horizon, also 2070. And then finally, the last piece is adaptive capacity, which looks at how, what is the capability of a particular asset to be able to respond to flooding. In this particular situation, we're looking at rainfall, tidal, and surge flooding as well. So I just alluded to the types of flooding. Now, this assessment is strictly looking at flood. So in typical vulnerability assessments, you can look at other hazards, extreme heat, storms as well, but because this is state mandated and is following state statute, we're looking at primarily flooding. And the state requires us to look at several different types. So rainfall, which is the one that we experience mostly here in the town. We're also looking at high tide flooding, storm surge, and then a combination of all of those, and sea level rise as well is layered on top of that. So we're looking at individually what these, where the extent and depth of these flooding scenarios are, but also what are they looking like compounded, and then we're also looking at future conditions. So our future conditions look at the 2040 scenarios, 2070 scenarios, and we're looking at what rainfall looks like at those time periods, but also what sea level rise looks at those time periods. And although Davie is pretty far inland, we are tidally influenced because there is some hydraulic connection through the canals. So I mentioned another big part of this assessment is critical assets, and the state does define critical assets into four different categories. So backing up a bit, what is a critical asset? It is an asset that's integral to the operation of the town, right? So for public safety, for daily functioning, and for the well-being of the residents as well. The four categories that we look at is transportation and evacuation routes, critical infrastructure, so those are like our water facilities, also community and emergency facilities, so that's our healthcare, our EMS, police, fire. And then the fourth category is natural and cultural historical resources, so Old Davie School, any other parks is also in that, wetlands, any natural spaces can be in that category as well. And then we pull on a lot of different sources to get this data, so it's publicly available data as well as data owned by the town, and then we'll prioritize each one of those assets based on a methodology. So just to give you a sense of what the map looks like when we kind of lay out where all these assets are. Each one of those dots on the left represents a type of asset that falls into one of those four categories that I mentioned, and you can see where they're located. that map. So that gives you a sense of kind of positioning of all of them. Exposure and sensitivity. So I mentioned this a bit earlier, but we do look at 42 different flood scenarios. It is hard to read on the right-hand side because it's a little small and we're trying to fit all 42 on there, but you can see the different flood types, right? So rainfall, tidal, surge, and then the compound flooding. The rainfall scenarios, we made sure that they were aligned with state statute, but also aligned with what the town is currently doing as far as planning goes. So we wanted to make sure that we were, yes, checking the box for state requirements, but also making sure that it was something useful that could be used even after this project is wrapped up. So like I mentioned, extent and depth of flooding captured for each one of those 42 scenarios. We looked at over 1,500 assets in the town, and then for those assets, we figured out what is the depth of flooding at each one of them, and if they were impacted, in fact, by each one of the 42 scenarios. The next step in the process is focus areas. So what is a focus area? Again, in a situation where we have limited resources and often we have competing priorities, it's nice to kind of be able to figure out where we might want to turn our sights to. If we had, if we landed with $500,000, what project might we want to focus on? And that also considers time horizons, right? It helps us to figure out targeted adaptation strategies and not just kind of, what we had next on our capital plan. And it's important to note that focus areas, you'll notice on the map that there's none in the west. And that doesn't mean that flooding does not happen in the west. Our exposure maps show that there is flooding happening on the west side of the town, and there are critical assets on the west side of the town. But this focus area exercise is a geographic spatial analysis. So what we're seeing is an aggregation of assets that are ranked high priority, and we're looking at clusters of those assets, and we use a spatial analysis to figure that out, and that's how we get those blobs, if you will, the yellow, red, and orange blobs. It's also a task that's required for grant compliance. So as I mentioned, by no means is it the only tool in our toolbox. When we're looking at flood mitigation, we have several tools. So we have the stormwater master plan, we have all the drainage studies that have been going on. We have the exposure analysis, the sensitivity analysis. The focus area task is one of those other tools that we have. So what goes into identifying these focus areas? So stepping back a little bit into critical assets, when we cataloged all of the assets, we determined the asset criticality. And the asset criticality is determined by its function. So how critical is it to having, to continuing town operations? And then also the other piece of that is how wide across the town does it impact, right? So if we're looking at a bus stop, does that have a town-wide impact, or does it have more of a neighborhood impact? So we're looking at scale as well. The second part of identifying focus areas, and this is, if you were to look at it, it'd look like a big equation, so we've simplified it a little bit here, but flood risk. So how often is that particular asset exposed to flooding? And then we look at time horizon, present day, 2014 and 2017. Present day is more pressing, 2070 a little less pressing. We factor all those things in together and we get the priority score, and that tells us which assets are most vulnerable and essentially where they are. So once we do all of that, this is a kind of close-up look of what we get. So we have two types of focus areas, primary and secondary. The reason for two types is because there's a lot of road assets in the town. So the primary focus areas does not take into consideration our road assets. If we were to take into consideration the roads, it would skew the data a bit, right? And so then we're not solely focusing on things like our fire stations, schools, police stations, hospitals. So that we wouldn't exclude the road assets as well, we did the secondary focus areas. So the secondary focus areas does take into consideration all of the assets, but also the roads as well. For both focus area types, we have three different tiers. So the first tier is our highest priority mitigation zones. Those are ones that have the highest priority score assets and also are tightly aggregated together. The second tier is more of a near-term consideration, but less, maybe less pressing than that first tier. And the third tier is ones that we should be monitoring, looking at them for long-term planning, have them have our sights on them for future. Our next steps. So like I said, we're at that final phase and stage of delivering everything to FDEP. We are packaging up our final report, which will be made available for everyone here. We're going to transfer all of our data to the town, all the models, all of the outputs, all the maps. That will be in the town's possession and available for use for any other projects. And then we really want to leverage this work, so we're going to seek additional funding through Florida Department of Environmental Protection, also through other federal agencies as well, to really have this not be something that sits on the shelf, but something that the town can benefit from for a couple years to come. And with that, I will take any questions. This is my last slide.
Have any questions? Okay, I just want to go back to the slide, the slide with the 3 tiers. Are those, I can't see, it's very hard, 3 specific areas in the town of Davie that you've identified?
Correct.
Yeah, where?
Where are they?
Yeah.
So the first tier, so 1A, there's 2. I think of your left, we have 1A and 2A. So that's right by I-595 and State Road 7. The second
Truck stop. It's
Sorry?
Reese
Yeah,
Road.
The industrial park, okay.
Right.
And there's 7. We chose to only just show a couple here, just for visual purposes. The second tier, or where the tier 2 are located, you'll see there is Sterling Road and University Drive, and then that third one is University Drive and I-595. So in the final report, you'll see blown up versions of this, zooming into each one of the focus areas themselves, but then also the entire town. And one thing I did want to mention that I didn't mention before is this also took into consideration public input. So when we factored in, when we were thinking of asset priority and asset criticality, we did include input from the community that we got from the 2 public meetings, as well as the online surveys. That was all factored into that scoring and methodology. So that is accounted for in these focus areas also.
Thank you. Susan?
Yes, and thank you so much. I know how critical this is going to be for us to leverage our funds for grant opportunities. And that being said, this morning I had a Zoom meeting again with my Broward Water Advisory Board for Broward County, and they announced that the SERP and the CNSF study for resiliency is going to be releasing their grants opportunities. And so several of those, there's approximately 233 projects that are listed that have been identified that either need culverts or other improvements to help within the county alone. And what will kick this up for the town of Davie is the fact that we've already been ahead with getting our vulnerability assessment. So that's kudos to everybody here, and thank you for that. Some of the critical projects, though, I've met with you earlier too. First, I want to tell you that the grant, it's $20 million that they're going to be putting in that, and the alert should come out June 9th is when it's supposed to come out. That's when the board will be meeting on this for Broward County Commission, that they're going to have strategic outreach for the funding on that. All of the grants should be submitted by the fall. That's when they'll release all the priority fundings of how they're going to do that. The county, to my next question is, however, have you also identified, like we did at the county level, did you identify and maybe overlay some of the projects that the county had identified throughout the town of Davie that we have, and they have on their website? And it's an interactive that you can actually go on their website now through Jennifer Jurado's office and the Office of Resiliency. You can overlap maybe some of our projects that you've identified with what the county has done, and then too, that helps leverage even more funding at the state and federal level.
So what you're saying specifically is out of the scope of this project, just because it's kind of boxed in by what the grant is requiring. However, it's in terms of making sure that we do get the funding, from my experience with federal grants as well as state grants, it's always best to partner, whether it's with the county or another municipality that's right next door. So yes, it would be a very good idea to do that.
So I just, before we actually, I guess, finalize, I guess this is the final phase of what we're doing to this study, I want to make sure that, to my point, that we're overlapping the same priorities that the county had identified as flood areas. And then also, I noticed that on this, not tier one, because that we're well familiar about the area on Reese Road, and that area, it floods constant. We know that. And I don't see any development happening anytime soon in that specific area, requiring us to make those necessary improvements. Now, we could not leverage it with even the developers. But with the other areas, we've already, and I looked at the mapping before, we've already made improvements, and the elevations of those particular newly developed sites within those areas of the different tiers have already been developed to the higher elevation standards that the county and state also requires. So I guess that's what one of my concerns are. I mean, I don't want to, I want to identify the ones that are critical infrastructure, as we spoke, mainly those that are even schools that are being used as shelters after a storm.
Right.
The roads and the fire stations that need to be definitely storm ready and not flooding, so that we could also have our police and fire access immediately after a storm. And there's other critical necessary, the hospital, that's new. So it's built at the higher elevation.
Right.
So there's some things that are not and some things that are. So I wanted to make sure that these facilities that we're looking at are not just the town's own infrastructure, but also the facilities that we are looking at in the town that support all of
Exactly.
our disaster relief.
Thank you. Very good.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so the statute requires us to look at town-owned and operated, also regionally significant. So to your point, the hospitals would be regionally significant, even if they're not owned by the town or operated by the town, they would be included as well. Same thing with certain waste transfer sites or hazardous materials sites also, because if something significant were to happen to them, it could be, cascading effects for the community. So yes, they are included. That's a good point.
Yeah, and I appreciate what you and Brittany and everybody in the staff has participated with, and thank you all for that. And I've got a lot of information back at you. Grant girl.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Sorry, I
Very
didn't have my
informative.
mic on. The next presentation that we have is from the Broward County Animal Care Pet Registration Requirements Update. Doug Brightwell.
Hello, Mayor, Council. Thank y'all for having me. Doug Brightwell with Broward County Animal Care. Wanted to thank the city for the cooperation and collaboration that we have with you guys. I know y'all are without an ACO right now, so we're glad that we can help cover those animal calls while y'all are in the search for your new ACO. And I wanted to say thank you to your fire stations here in the city, because all 6 of your fire stations took advantage of the free microchip scanners we gave out earlier this year, so they have the opportunity to help kind of get lost pets home if they have microchips. So I wanted to say thank you to your fire station folks here as well. Broward County Animal Care is open 7 days a week. We take in stray animals from throughout the county. We took in over 9,000 dogs and cats last year, which is the highest we've taken in a number of years. And that comes from all the jurisdictions within the county. We provide adoption services, foster services, TNR assistance, as well as, obviously, the enforcement side. The main point for coming tonight is we have revamped and updated our county ordinances for our pet registration program, because all dogs and cats who live in Broward County have to be registered and have a current rabies vaccination. So we've tried to make that process easier and a less frequent endeavor for pet owners. So we changed this past year, the status for your pet registration tags used to be based on sterilization status, whether your dog or cat was fixed or not fixed. And a lot of people would not register their pets because of the cost of getting their pets fixed, especially the female pets. So we changed that because one of the goals of lost pets is getting them back home. Microchip of the pets is just as important as licensing. So we changed the basis for our licensing program to now be based on whether your pet is microchipped or not microchipped. So if you register your pet with Broward County Animal Care and it is microchipped and we have that chip in our database, you now qualify as the pet owner for a lower price tag than if the pet is not microchipped. And we also updated the ordinance where now you can get a 1-year tag or a 3-year tag depending on what rabies vaccination you get. So as of May of this year, a microchipped pet with a 1-year tag is $25 a year. A microchip pet for a 3-year tag is $65 a year. And for a non-microchip pet for a 1-year tag is $55. And for a non-microchip pet for a 3-year tag is $145. So it's very financially advantageous for folks to get that microchip. And we give out, we have clinics twice a month throughout the county where we do free vaccinations and free microchipping for pet owners. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible to qualify for that lowest tier, because the more pets that are microchipped and tagged, we can get those pets back home. We got our return to owner rate for lost pets last year up to 15%, which is a significant increase of pets coming through when you've got 9,000 animals a year coming through. So we appreciate all the efforts and support your city has given us as well as your ACO. And we look forward to continuing that. So,
Thank you very much.
any questions?
Anybody have any questions? We are a very pet-friendly community, and
you
we
are.
thank you very much for working with us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Council.
Okay. Moving on. Just have to announce that in our public hearing, the applicant has withdrawn the following items. Under quasi-judicial public hearing, the rezoning on 5600 LLC, the variance application for 5600 LLC, 21, a variance, a resolution on 5600 LLC, and 22, a variance application on 5600 LLC. As they were withdrawn, there's no action that needs to be taken. But we do need to add the following item. We want to have a motion to add number 28, which is the Solid Waste Authority Board appointment.
Motion to add number 28, solid waste appointment, board
Okay.
appointment to the agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. On the consent agenda, I'd like to pull 14 and 15. Does anybody else want to pull anything? Okay. May I have a motion to approve the consent agenda minus 14 and 15?
Motion to approve the consent agenda minus 14 and 15.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. Okay. 14 and 15 are the site plan and the plat for 5600 Southwest 61st Avenue. First of all, I would like to thank the developers for listening to the public and bringing this back, changing it, taking away all the variances, and bringing it back at 1 home per acre. That's exactly what the residents wanted. That was compatible to their neighborhood, and they listened. So here's another example where if the residents tune in to something and act on it and let us know their feelings, how it can be resolved and how we can improve what we're doing. Before we go ahead and accept this, I had gone through the site plan and made some recommendations. So the applicant submitted a revised site plan package on May 20th. Staff completed their review, and this is an updated list of staff recommendations based on the updated plans, which I discussed with the developer the other day. There are 9 items on the list. You have them all in front of you. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, sorry. I forgot the other side. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, there's 14. 9 on one side and the other on the other side. Some of the most important things are the issuance of the engineering permits, making corrections in the landscape plans, revising plans with the landscaping is very important, and trying to save some of those trees that they were going to take down. We're going to make an attempt to try to save some of those trees and replant them, relocate them rather than to cut them down. Also very important is the inclusion of the point that traffic should access the site via Sterling Road rather than Griffin Road. We know what a problem that Griffin Road corner is on 61st, so keeping that truck traffic away from there is very important. So is there anybody that hasn't had a chance to look at all of them? Okay. The other thing that we wanted to do, which was important, is that roadway was just redone, beautifully redone. And now you're going to have truck traffic coming through. So as prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy for the first home, developer shall repair any roadway or speed hump damage that may have resulted from site development along 61st Avenue between Griffin and Sterling Road. Very, very important. Also, that the project construction traffic does not interfere with the normal school bus schedules along Southwest 61st. So I feel that the home designs following the anti-monotony and other requirements of a rural lifestyle are very important, and I really appreciate that you were working with us on that. So I'm going to ask for a motion to approve item 14 along with the 14 items that were presented to us by as staff recommendations based on the updated plan.
Question, Mayor, is that one that you recently cited about the roadway improvement and speed humps? If they're damaged, is that also on here? I didn't see
Yeah,
it.
it's on the front side.
Oh, it's on the front page again.
It's
Okay.
number 3.
3, okay, there it is. Okay, I'd make a motion. First of all, I wanted to ask also staff if the developer has agreed also to all the 14 items that were listed on here. Has he seen them and have they agreed to them?
Yeah, they presented it. They
That's what I
said.
thought. Okay, I'll make a motion to approve item number 14, site plan for 5600 LLC, and with the memorandum that was passed and the stipulations by the developer.
I'll second it.
All those, is quasi, do I need to do a roll call? No? Voice? Okay. Okay, thank you. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? That's unanimous. And now for the plat, may I have a motion to approve the plat?
I'll make the motion to approve number 15, the plat.
Second.
There's a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Thank you. Thank you very much for working with us. We appreciate it. This closes the, no, wait a minute, I've got other stuff here. On the public hearing, number 16, comprehensive plan amendment. Mr. Weinthal, would you read the ordinance by title, please?
Yes, Mayor. Comprehensive plan amendment. An ordinance of the town of Davie, Florida, amending the town's water supply facilities work plan in the following elements of the town's comprehensive plan. Infrastructure element and capital improvement element, providing for conflict, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, thank you. This is the second reading. Is there anyone that wishes to speak for or against this item? You can come forward at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any discussion by council? Any questions? May I have a motion to approve in a second?
I'll make the motion to approve number 16, the comprehensive plan amendment.
Second?
Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Whitman,
Yes.
Mayor Paul,
Yes.
Councilmember Starkey,
Yes.
Councilmember Alfonso,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. Number 17 is a code amendment. It's a second reading. Mr. Weinthal, would you read the ordinance by title, please?
Yes, Mayor. In ordinance to the Town of Davie, Florida, creating Chapter 24, Division 4, titled Motorized Scooters, Section 94, Definitions, Section 95, Requirements and Restrictions, Section 96, Penalties, Enforcement, and impound fees, providing for severability, providing for conflict, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you very much. If there's anybody that would like to speak for or against this, you may come forward at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Is there any discussion or questions from council? Seeing none. May I have a motion to approve in a second?
A motion to approve the code amendment regarding motorized scooters?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Whitman,
Yes.
Councilmember Alfonso,
Yes.
Councilmember Starkey,
Yes.
Mayor Paul,
Yes.
motion passes.
Thank you. Number 18 is a variance. Mr. Weinthal, would you read the resolution by title?
Yes, Mayor. A resolution of the Town of Davie, Florida, taking final action on variance application V26-040 Hamel, provide for severability, providing for conflict, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Is there anyone that wishes to speak for or against this item? Are the people, oh, you're here, would you like to say anything? Oh, okay. All right. If there's anyone that is a public hearing, anyone like to speak for or against this item, you can come forward at this time. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Is there any discussion from council? May I have a motion to approve in a second?
I'll make the motion to approve number 18, the variance.
Second. Second.
Roll call, please.
Councilmember Starkey,
Yes.
Mayor Paul,
Yes.
Councilmember Alfonso,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Whitman,
Yes.
motion passes.
There you go. That closes the public hearing portion of the meeting. And we'll move on, reporting the various items, the resolutions, the proclamations, rather, that we have placed on the agenda this month. Alzheimer's and Brain Awareness Month is June. National Caribbean American Heritage Month, which is also June. Safety Awareness Month, and National Boys and Girls Club Week, which is June 22nd to June 26th. The next thing is appointments. Are there any board and committee appointments? Anyone? No. We added number 28, which is a Solid Waste Authority Board. Did you want to explain that? Phil?
Hi, good evening, Mayor Paul and Council. The reason why we added this item is we currently don't have an alternate for the town's position on the governing board of the Solid Waste Authority. Our primary representative is Councilmember Lewis, so we need an alternate as a secondary. Thank you.
Do we
Mayor?
have any volunteers?
I would like to.
Would you really?
I would.
Wonderful. Thank you. May I have a motion to approve?
Motion to appoint
Vice
Michelle
Mayor?
Whitman,
Okay.
Vice Mayor Michelle Whitman to the Solid Waste Authority Board. Thank you.
And there's a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That's unanimous. Why,
Go
thank
get
you,
'em.
ma'am. There we go. Gonna do solid waste and MPO, then
Both
they blend
transportation
right
and
in.
garbage.
Yeah.
Good. I get water and education.
We have no committee recommendations, old business or new business. We are now basically have our little summer hiatus, and we don't have, although we have a number of meetings and ribbon cuttings and openings, and we still continue to do business, but we don't have anything until the Town Council Vision and Goal Setting Session workshop, which is Thursday, July 16th. And then the town's second budget workshop is Wednesday, July 22nd, same time as a town council meeting. Okay, next thing is the is comments. Vice Mayor, would you like to start?
Why, thank you, Mayor. Okay, I know you brought it up before, but I'm going to add again. We have a sweet event coming up called Cones with Cops. This Thursday, June 4th, between 1 and 3 p.m. at the Baskin Robbins, located at 8570 Sterling Road in Davie. This is just in time to close out the school year. Come hang out with our community policing and mounted units and enjoy some ice cream and tell us all about your summer plans. On June 6th, Saturday, our police department is hosting a free, yes, free child safety seat installment program from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. at CarMax on 7420 West State Road 84 by the vehicle service area. If interested, you will need to secure your spot by calling 954-693-8358. On June 13th, Saturday, we have two events taking place. The Shred-a-thon prescription drug drop-off event, with which the town is hosting free for all Davie residents. This event will take place at Pine Island Park, Banford Sports Complex at 3801 South Pine Island Road from 9 to 11, or until disposal trucks reach capacity. For more information or to view additional event dates, visit www.davie-fl.gov/waste and recycling or email waste@davie-fl.gov. Also on June 13th is our Ready Davie family fun and public safety event from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the Bergeron Rodeo Grounds, 4201 Southwest 65th Way in Davie. This event is formerly known as the Hurricane Expo. Ready Davie continues its mission to help residents prepare, protect, and stay safe this hurricane season by sharing essential disaster preparedness. This free community event aims to raise awareness of the tools and resources available to help residents protect their homes, families, and pets this 2026 Atlantic hurricane season. Free parking will be available. Food will be available for purchase. For more information, please contact Emergency Manager George McCord at 954-797-1207. June 20th, Saturday, is our Weekly Brothers PRCA Rodeo event. Will take place at the Bergeron Rodeo Grounds, 4201 Southwest 65th Way at 7:30 p.m. Get your tickets early. June 21st is Father's Day. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. Finally, happy birthday to all our June babies. Special birthday wishes to Mayor Paul and Councilmember Marlon Lewis. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I'm
You
just
just
gonna-
had one too, so.
I did.
A lot of Geminis here.
I guess so. Something to be said about that. I'll first just thanks again to the Department of Budget and Finance for the preparation of the budget presentations. The information was great. I want to just add that working at the Nova Southeastern University and having just finished working with the Broward Center of Performing Arts to develop the upcoming slate of shows at the Miniachi Theater in the Davie NSU campus. We're going to be working with Jeff to get that information out to the community and perhaps have some low budget or free access to some of the Davie residents. There's some great shows, including some local artists that are going to be performing there, so look forward to that partnership.
That's great. There's a great theater. There's not a bad seat in the house. Though we have some good shows. Susan?
The things, I'm just wrap up some of the events that we've all been attending, as you know. It's graduation time. So I had the honors of being able to go to the best and the brightest in Broward County, which is the College Academy, which is with Broward College. They're the students that can kind of basically attend college and get their AA degree at the same time that their peers are graduating high school. So these kids were just absolutely amazing to hear that one of them actually had a 6-point plus GPA. There's others that have had an extraordinary amount of volunteer hours to like over 800. And you're like, where do they get the time to study and be so smart and volunteer like that? So, you know, there was about 200, I think it was 239 students that graduated. And I have to tell you, I am hopeful. This younger generation was just amazing, hearing one after another all the brilliant children that were graduating. My only fear is that when they get into college, they're young, they're still little ones, they're still 16 and 17 and 18 years old. You know, they're still young. And so I just hope they are smart enough to continue on the success that I know they'll have if they do. And that was amazing at the Broward Performing Arts Center. Another thing that we've done, I want to thank again the police memorial ceremony, Chief. Again, always, it's a somber event recognizing those of our police and fire that have passed, and you know, we always enjoy that, and my heart is always there. As you know, the memorial out here is very dear to my heart, as I was the chair who put it together, so I always love it here, and I thank you very much for another beautiful ceremony, and for you being the MC on it. It was extraordinary, thank you. We also had a Memorial Day parade celebration. I think we've mentioned that before. It was fantastic. The Broward League of Cities also had their 69th annual dinner. And the dinner is not just a dinner. There was about 500 people there on May 30th, happened to have been my birthday, and spent my birthday with Michelle, Danny Alfonso, and we all drove over there with all the county elected officials and a lot of other business and trustees throughout the county who helped make this event a very good success. And I want to also hope that we could, we haven't sponsored it in a long time, but I know that our managers, I mean our municipalities usually sponsor these events. And this is our biggest fundraising event. You know, the League of Cities provides us with a lot of information that helps us with a lot of the decision making, like our SROs, and working with the county, with the city managers associations and the police department and all of that. So I want to hope that we can do that with them. As I said before, I met this morning with a Zoom meeting with the Water Advisory Board for Broward County. I'm going to share a lot of the information with our staff once I get to kind of review it, but it's really good because the C11 compound impoundment area down at C11 Canal is the one on Griffin Road, and it goes all the way out. They're going to have some improvements that should be made. Their storage there is like 4,600 acres. There's 1,000 acres of above ground storage. There's 400 acres gravity-fed improvements, pump stations, and this all protects the infrastructure that we have in Broward County and Davie and Cooper City, Southwest Ranches, and Weston. So it's really important that this project goes forward. We're kind of in competition, but shouldn't be, with the C9, which is the south end of the county. And I know that it was brought up at the meeting, and I could only put in my comments on that as well. But we're going to continue to ensure that that pump station and the additional pumps get put in there as well. There's a lot of things going on. Like I said, there's going to be issues that are going to be brought before the county commission on that. And we're going to have to advocate for a lot of the funding that we're going to have to fight for in order to get the Army Corps of Engineers to prioritize this project for us. And I leave tomorrow to be on the Florida Municipal Loan Council, as I'm a trustee, so I will not be available except for checking in every now and again with our electronic leash. And I will get to you as soon as I can. But I will be attending those meetings tomorrow and Friday.
Thank you. I have a couple of things, and I'll pass them around for you to look at. Thank you notes from the Florida High School Rodeo, thanking us for their participation. You pass those down and pass it on here. And I attended a celebration of life this past weekend at Robbins Lodge for Bernie Crimmins. He's an old-time cowboy in Davie, did a lot of training of horses, and he passed on. And so we had a gathering at Robbins, and a lot of people came out to honor him. So I just wanted to mention that. Also, on the rodeo on June 20th, we're going to be celebrating the American cowboy. I've mentioned this before, but the important thing to remember is we had cowboys and cattle in Florida before any other state. The Spanish brought cattle here in the 1500s, and the cattle ranching industry is a #1 industry in the state of Florida. And that's where the cracker cowboy comes in, because they didn't use lassos, they used whips. And at the rodeo on the 20th, we're going to have a little celebration at the beginning of the rodeo, and there's going to be a cattle drive with cracker cowboys and cracker horses, and so we're looking forward to that. It should be a lot of fun. I just wanted to remind everybody that the Davie Rodeo Arena, Town Hall, the Women's Club, the Old Davie School were all included in a historical district that we created a few years ago, which protects these locations for 100 years. Nothing can be changed, nothing can be built there. The rodeo arena is here forever. And I just wanted to remind everybody that this is the case in Davie, and why we have been so diligent about preserving the history of our community. Let's see. Yes, July 4th, don't forget, at Bamford. One thing that I'm really excited about is our inclusion of a drone program. And each year we are increasing the amount of time that we spend on the drones, and it gives us a really great view of the town in color and sky beyond the fireworks. So let me invite everybody. Don't forget, you're supposed to register. It's a free event for Davie residents, but we like to have you register. And although you're as an individual registering, if you're coming in with a car, as many people that are in the car under your name are admitted with you. So don't forget to get a hold of the Parks and Recreation Department and sign up for that. Mr. Lemack?
Mayor, thank you. I have nothing this evening.
Mr. Weinthal?
I have nothing to add, Mayor.
Are there any objections? We're adjourned.